Fatigue, brain fog, hair loss, weight loss resistance are all signs of thyroid issues. Today, I want to go in depth on thyroid issues. What causes thyroid issues? What can you do to solve your thyroid issues? Okay, because over 12% of the US population develop a thyroid condition during their lifetime. Okay, up to 60% of people are unaware that they do have a thyroid problem. Okay, and hypothyroidism is the second most common endocrine disorder affecting women of reproductive age. Okay, so one in eight women will experience a thyroid issue sometime in their lifetime. Thyroid issues and thyroid holds a dear place in me because so many people suffer on a daily basis from their poor thyroid. But unfortunately, you will see later as I speak, you will see that majority of the time the thyroid is just the backup of everything but the master of none. So what I mean by that is that when you're struggling with a thyroid issue, it's not actually your thyroid, it's just the tertiary culprit to what's actually going on. Okay, so I like to think about it as, before we even start, think about your thyroid as, when you have a thyroid issue, it's like a check engine light on your car. So, you know, you don't know what specifically is wrong with your car, you just know that there's something wrong with your engine. Okay, maybe it be oil, brakes, whatever it may be. Same with thyroid. All right. So to begin things off here, I wrote some notes and drop them in the show note below. So to begin with, like, where is the thyroid located? Right here, if you're not familiar, like just in front of the neck. Okay, but it is small and has profound effect. Okay, on so many things: mood, cognition, hormonal balance, and overall metabolism, metabolic function. Okay, so when you have a slowed down thyroid function, such as like hypothyroidism, it will cause, you to have weight loss resistance or you to have issues. So yeah, so like I said, let's talk about the conventional medicine approach and the functional medicine difference between thyroid issues. So when you're struggling with, conventional medicine usually just wants to medicate the issue if you're struggling with thyroid problems. um, they're looking at your thyroid and then they're looking at just like some lab values, which is flawed because they're not looking at the whole picture, but they're looking at like a TSH and a T4, and then they're going off that and then they're medicating that. Now, there's many flaws to that, but essentially you don't feel well. There's many people that take thyroid medication but still don't feel well, so that could be you. And with a functional medicine approach, we're looking at all the factors that affect thyroid, okay? Food sensitivities, okay? Nutrient deficiencies, toxins, stress, inflammation, gut microbiome health. All these things influence your thyroid, okay? So going into the next topic, what are the things that affect your thyroid? Okay, food sensitivities. Okay, if you have like a food allergens or you're sensitive to different foods, it causes immunological reaction inside your body. So if you're struggling with something like Hashimoto's, that could be, root cause is the food sensitivities because it's giving out that immunological response. Okay, inflammation, another one. Okay, toxins, infections, nutrient deficiencies, and stress. The thing is that stress is like the biggest driver for poor thyroid function because it downregulates TSH. And then when you look at your lab values, you're like, I got low TSH, and then your doctor medicates you with synthroid or levothyroxine. And as we will talk about, that is flawed because that hormone still isn't getting converted into the active form T3, and that's why you don't feel well. All right, but to begin with, what are some of the factors needed for proper thyroid function? Okay, we have iron, zinc, selenium, tyrosine, iodine. All these things help support the process, the synthesis, and the metabolization of thyroid hormone. And so breaking just the two that's most common is selenium and iodine, because they're both very important for thyroid health because it works on the synthesization and the conversion of thyroid hormone. So beginning with iodine. Okay, so iodine carries, your hormone T4 and T3 is kind of like they carry iodine in it. There's molecules of iodine in them. Okay, and the T3 and the T4 is kind of like how many iodine atoms are in it. So where T3 has 3 iodine atoms, and then T4 has four iodine atoms. And then the conversion is like iodine cleaving because we're going from 4 into 3. Okay, but without enough iodine, because people get nutrient deficient, because iodine isn't actually like in our diet so much unless you eat a lot of seaweed or something like that. But without it, then we can't produce enough hormone. And what happens then is you get something called a goiter, which means you have an enlargement of the thyroid gland. So sad stuff. And then you also get hypothyroidism. You get the diagnosis or whatever, and then yeah. So then selenium. Selenium is also a key part that activates. So selenium activates an enzyme called deodanase, which helps the conversion of T4 into T3. Okay, and then it also balances T3 and reverse T3, which we'll get into. Reverse T3 usually becomes high when you're very stressed, inflamed, and things like that, because the body doesn't know what to do. It doesn't want to give it to the active form, wants to give it to the inactive form, which is your T4 doesn't want to give it to the active form T3. It wants to give it to the inactive form reverse T3. Okay. So we're getting into it. Let's talk about this. Hypothyroidism is not a disease. Okay. Hypothyroidism is not a disease unless you're struggling with Hashimoto's. But to say that someone has hypothyroidism, it's like saying I have fat. Because what happens is that there's a process that puts you to the hypothyroid state, but by getting your lifestyle in check, your nutrition in check, and all that other stuff in check, it gets your thyroid back into function. Okay, so say it one more time. Hypothyroidism is not a disease. Low calorie diets. Low calorie eating is a form of stress on our body. But when so many people are doing all these fad diets, maybe you're doing all these fad diets, all these super low calorie diets, no carbohydrates, because carbohydrates feed the thyroid. Okay, all it does is create a stress response in our body, which then down regulates thyroid production, thyroid health. Okay, so let's talk about there's something called thyroid cellular sensitivity. Okay, so exercise can increase the number of receptors on the cells and trigger the necessary responses for the hormone to be activated properly. You know, and so that's just going in, because it's almost like insulin sensitivity. Exercise resistance training is great for insulin, keeping your blood glucose in check. Utilization correct. And same with exercise. Exercise helps with thyroid health. Doing that. And then we're going to go into the topic of autoimmune. So, there's many autoimmune issues like Hashimoto's, Graves, lupus, arthritis, Crohn's, and things like that. But if we hone in on here on Hashimoto's, because that is an autoimmune condition, that is when the thyroid's attacking, my apologies, that is when the immune system is attacking the thyroid gland. Okay, and unfortunately, about 60% of people that are struggling with hypothyroidism are actually dealing with something called Hashimoto's, which we just spoke about, is an autoimmune condition. Okay, the thyroid is the culprit. The immune system is attacking the thyroid gland. So you just taking the hormone like levothyroxine or Synthroid is not correcting the true root cause of your thyroid issues, even though it's autoimmune, and the root cause is your overactive immune system. And I see it all the time in my coaching and my practice. I'm seeing people that are struggling with thyroid issues, struggling with this, struggling with that, and at the end result, it is the immune system, because it is an autoimmune issue, Hashimoto's. And how can you test for Hashimoto's? Well, you can run antibodies like TPO, TPA, TGA, okay, and to get those numbers, you can get a number bag, and if it's elevated or anything like that, then those are signs of autoimmune type issues. But you also can get the thyroid ultrasound, which is the top tier, I believe, to be the top for you to actually understand if you have Hashimoto's. Yeah. So, going on the topic of, autoimmune, Hashimoto's, all of this, what are the actual root causes of autoimmune issues? About 60 to 70% of autoimmune issues are from genetic predisposition. meaning that you already have genes in you that keep you more predisposed to autoimmune like conditions. Now, epigenetics do play a role here. Epigenetics is your environment that you are living in, you're doing to yourself, and then how the genes react to it. So, we can't just say that the reason, you have this autoimmune issue is just straight from your genetics, because the lifestyle triggers, okay, triggers what happens to your genes. But leaky gut is a big one. Leaky gut. So with leaky gut, molecules and undigested food, bacteria flow into your bloodstream, which then just makes your immune system go crazy. And what then happens is that you get all these symptoms, an overactive immune system, and then body wants to start attacking itself. Toxins is a big one in the liver, which we'll get into it with thyroid. Toxins are a big one, inflammatory foods. Okay. So let's talk about something called the gut thyroid connection. Um, so there's so your conversion of thyroid hormone doesn't just happen in the thyroid gland. It happens in other areas as well, like the heart, the liver, the gut. Okay, so there's clear evidence that shows that there's studies that show if your gut is imbalanced, like something called dysbiosis, then it will hinder thyroid synthesis and conversion. So, with that being said, if you are dealing with an imbalance of gut bacteria inside of your microbiome, then that would inevitably cause you to have thyroid issues. Now, that has nothing to do with thyroid gland, but individuals will treat their thyroid issues with thyroid hormone, even though it has nothing to do with the gland. See, now we understand why people don't feel well while dealing with thyroid issues and taking medication. Now, inside my practice and my coaching, that's why we do a full protocol on, you know, your thyroid too, and then gut, and then liver, and then heart, all of it, cardiometabolic health, all of it, for you to lose the weight and keep it off for good. Okay. So yeah, leaky gut can cause so many issues. And let's talk about the liver thyroid connection. Okay. This is pretty much so the liver is deeply involved in the process of activating and transporting and metabolizing thyroid hormone. Okay. But on the other hand, thyroid hormones influence the activity of liver cells. So they play hand in hand. It's called a negative feedback loop. Okay. So when the liver is in dysfunction, thyroid is in dysfunction, vice versa. Okay, so if the thyroid's down regulated, then liver will be down regulated. But what does this mean for you, and how does this affect you? Well, when the liver is, down regulated, or the thyroid's down regulated, then it slows down your metabolism, your metabolic health, and causes an array of issues like brain fog, fatigue, even hormonal imbalance like estrogen dominance. Then you have PMS, or you have man boobs as a guy, you have low testosterone as a guy. But honing in on women, because 1 in 8 women, let's remember that 1 in 8 women struggle with thyroid issues sometime in their lifetime. And so, if you have poor thyroid health, poor thyroid function because your thyroid is now downregulated, then your body can't detox well enough. Okay, you have phases of detoxification, which I'm not going to get into. If you go in my other YouTube videos, you will see it. But you have phases of detoxification, phases 1 and 2, and then you have phase 3, which is the excretion part through urine, stool, even sweat. But going into it here, if you have poor detox pathways, then your body will start accumulating toxins, which then causes just an array of issues. But let's actually get into some actionable steps here. What can you do about your thyroid issues? Okay, so first thing I like to do inside my coaching is we have to find the root cause. We have to find the why. Why is your thyroid downregulated? Why are you having these thyroid symptoms? Okay, the best thing you could do too is to get a full thyroid panel. I'm talking full thyroid panel with all markers in it. TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, TPO, TGAB, all of it. You want to see all of it. You want to get the entire picture to understand what specifically is going on. After that, you want to address the underlying causes. Okay, gut inflammation, toxicity, stress, all of it. All these things contribute to poor thyroid health. Okay. After that, you want to follow an anti-inflammatory diet that treats the inflammation. So your diet should be filled with a lot of omega-3s, not omega-6 seed oils. Remove those. Omega-3s, fatty acids, essential fatty acids, salmon, all types of fish. Okay, healthy fats as well, like avocado oil, olive oil, ghee, different types of butter because they carry something called butyrate, which helps with your gut, things like that. And then you want to follow, like, obviously, grass fed, organic if you can. This is all, if you can, types of meat, okay? Because you don't want to eat a cow that's been eating candy, and that's actually how it works. But that's a whole topic for another time. Elimination diet. We want to eliminate the food reactions, the food allergens that cause that immunological flare up. So something like gluten, we want to eliminate. Dairy is another one. We want to eliminate these things for just a period of time to find out what truly do we need to do, correct the gut. Blood sugar balance. Blood sugar plays a vital role in thyroid health and thyroid production and metabolization. So making sure blood sugar is balanced. And then you want to support micronutrients, okay? Meaning you want to support iodine, selenium, tyrosine, vitamin A, vitamin D, zinc, um, vitamin C. All these things play a role for thyroid production, synthesis, metabolization. So you want to, support micronutrients, whether it be, obviously focusing on diet, but if you want to take some type of form of, of a multivitamin or a thyroid support supplement. That actually brings me to the next one, thyroid support supplement. Now, I'm not here to sell you anything, but if you want to, I'll link below something called Thyro Boost. I use this with my clients all the time, and we help them solve their thyroid issues. But with Thyroid Boost, it has all the key minerals in it. It helps with the thyroid conversion and synthesis, but it also has glandular support. Glandular support meaning it's like supports like Ayurvedic medicine. So it actually has thyroid gland, bovine gland, coming from an animal. Completely safe. Use it. It's Ayurvedic medicine. So it's actual thyroid gland that you can take, and it helps synthesize it. Because back then, when there was like with whatever time, the days of, like, 300, 400, 500 years ago, when they would eat heart, it would help their heart. So the same thing. Have thyroid, it helps your thyroid. And then you want to address stress in adrenals. You want to check out something called your HPA axis, because your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, because that influences a lot with your thyroid production and conversion. So you want to address that, whether it be get your lifestyle in check, lower stress, things like that. And the last two is your gut and your liver. You want to have a gut healing protocol, and then you want to support phase 1 and phase 2 of liver detoxification, like I spoke about prior. And so, yeah, this is the main quick and dirty on thyroid health, thyroid function. We will have YouTube videos on where I pinpoint specific things so I can get more in depth. But I wanted to give you a broad overview on everything. Now, if you want to get to the root cause of your thyroid issues, skip all the guesswork and get the proven roadmap with the guaranteed results, or everything back, then this is for you. I own a company called Complete Vitality. We are a functional health coaching company program that helps you get to the root cause of your issues like hypothyroid, IBS, PCOS, autoimmune, and more. If you want this opportunity, please reach out today. Hope all is well and you have a blessed day.